So now that GenAI models have had some time to grow and mature a bit, and context windows have become very large, there is talk that we no longer need RAG. But even if context windows were infinite, RAG is still extremely relevant for cost, performance, and accuracy of responses when dealing with agentic and GenAI systems. First off, RAG means Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's essentially a method that's used to inject information into a model that doesn't already have it at runtime. And this is especially useful for cases where you need to use domain-specific knowledge or, say, protected information or knowledge that's not generally available on the internet, meaning that the various models have not been able to, say, pull and scrape that data into the models themselves. Now let's think about the possible impacts of infinite context windows. Pretend for a moment you can inject any amount of data into a model and it can process that data to perform some action for you. Well, for one, if you're using an internet-based model provider, you're most likely paying by the token. And if you're injecting huge amounts of data on each task, you're also paying for that data as well, not to mention the extra time that it's going to take to process that information. And finally, yes, LLMs are getting better and better at providing accurate responses based on the data passed to them. But it still doesn't compare to what models can do when given exactly the information they need. And this is where OpenRAG comes in. So what is OpenRAG? OpenRAG is an open source platform of tightly integrated tools that makes standing up an effective agentic RAG system pretty straightforward. Now, a complete RAG system needs three things. You need quality data ingestion, you need excellent hybrid search for fast retrieval, and you need an orchestration layer to tie it all together. Now, OpenRAG is comprised of three platforms: Docling, OpenSearch, and Langflow. Each provide a major piece of the puzzle to work together to provide a full, pre-configured agentic RAG solution. Now, Docling handles intelligent document ingestion. For example, if you ingest, say, a PDF, you probably have maybe some tables, you have an image over here, and maybe some text or something like that. And you need something that can identify those components and extract them in a way that is optimized for LLMs and agents. Otherwise, you can end up with a lot of junk data that reduces the accuracy and efficacy of agents when using RAG data. Now, next in line is OpenSearch. OpenSearch is arguably the leading open source search platform in the industry. Once documents are processed with Docling, they're sent to OpenSearch and stored as vector representations and optimized for fast search retrieval. And finally, we have Langflow, which provides the agentic and RAG foundation that everything in OpenRAG is built on. So think of Langflow as the wiring and execution AI workflow engine that provides connectivity to dozens of model and vector store providers. OpenRAG combines all of these hooked up, pre-configured, and ready to ingest and search data. Now, once installed, OpenRAG allows you to start ingesting knowledge immediately and provides a simple interface to configure workflows and chat with your data. Now, the RAG portion is already set up and ready to go. You can ingest tons of document types into your OpenRAG knowledge, and then have the agent ingest URLs on the fly based on your conversation. So this data is automatically processed with Docling and OpenSearch. Now, once you have knowledge in your system, you can start asking questions in the chat here. You can ask something, right, against your corpus of knowledge, and then building applications that leverage it. And you can search across your whole corpus of knowledge, or you can use filters to just search particular groups of your documents. The flexibility is really in your control. Okay, great. So you have a RAG system in place, but now you want to make changes. Maybe change your model provider, embedding models, or go a little deeper in how OpenRAG is managing your data. This is where Langflow comes into play. So Langflow allows you to make those types of custom changes directly within the agentic flows themselves, and you can do this directly through its Studio UI. Let's look at an example. Let's say I have an external data source that I want to leverage in OpenRAG, and I also want to change my model provider. Now, let's go ahead and draw out like this basic flow. So coming in from OpenRAG, I'm going to, again, have my inputs, my output, in, out, right? Okay. I'm going to have my agent, and that's going to be responsible for handling my search. And as part of this, as we hook these guys up, I'm going to have an OpenSearch component as a tool for this agent. Now, let's say that I want to bring in a new set of data. I want to bring in an external set of data that is not just limited to the corpus of knowledge that I've pulled directly into OpenRAG. Well, this is where the flexibility and the control with Langflow really shine, because now I can just bring in my external data source, whatever that might be. I can also bring that in as a tool. And now the agent, the same OpenRAG agent, has access to that data. But now something super important here is you need to ensure that the name and the description of this tool are unique and well descriptive, right? Because that is the information that the agent is going to use to differentiate between them. That's how it knows which data source to go to. So now I can take this external piece of data, I can bring this in on top of the OpenSearch data that I have. And now when I am performing search and I ask something else, I can get new information based off of the external data that I pulled in to my OpenRAG platform. Now, maybe I want to change how data is being processed before it gets to OpenSearch. Same deal. I just open up the flow from settings in OpenRAG, and I modify the Langflow workflow to make my adjustments. All of this gets reflected in OpenRAG immediately. Finally, if you want to build an application that leverages your OpenRAG knowledge, you can use the OpenRAG UI as a reference to modify, or simply use the Langflow API and build something completely custom. OpenRAG is designed so you can quickly stand up a RAG platform in minutes, but allows you to manipulate every part of the process if you want to go deeper and make custom changes. It's fully open source and makes setting up an effective RAG system much easier than starting from scratch. OpenRAG is designed so you can quickly stand up a RAG platform in minutes, but allows you to manipulate every part of the process if you want to go deeper and make custom changes. It's fully open source and makes setting up an effective RAG system much easier than starting from scratch.